Question number 25 of the IT passport exam from PhilNITS. In this question, we are being asked, which of the following is a technique that can be used to compress both video and audio data? This question isn't really supposed to be difficult. If you've ever done any of those photo image editing or even watched videos using your computer, it's likely that you've encountered the words that we have among the choices. Okay, so it's asking us the compression technique for video and audio data. If we look at the choices, we have words like BMP, which is something related to bitmap images, and it's definitely something that you'd likely encounter if you use Microsoft Paint, because I think it's one of those file formats that you could get if you use MS Paint. Of course, later on there will be more file formats like the JPEG, which is a way to compress image files by using quality. For example, you can reduce the quality of the image, and in that way you can reduce the file size, because what it does is for each of the pixels, um, you could actually um, like what I said a while ago, reduce the quality so that if you don't need to zoom in on the photograph, you won't really notice as much. But of course, if you need to print a tarpaulin or something like that, and the image is too small and you have to make it larger, that's when you'll see the pixels coming out. So in that sense, it's a way to reduce the quality so that the file size won't be too large. But if you have a small image and you want to make it much larger, usually you'll find that the pixels are not as sharp as they should, because it's a little bit blurry, and so the quality isn't as high. Another way to sort of solve that problem is to use PNG. PNG, what it does is you can set the number of colors that can be used for a given image file. For example, instead of 256 colors or something like that, you just specify maybe 3 colors that the file would use. And that way you can reduce the image, and the quality is still going to be maintained, the sharpness of the image. And I think that format is typically used with web pages. Of course, if you are using photographs, it looks like the JPEG is the way to go for its smaller size, because if you're using PNG and because you're talking about photographs, it's likely that if you reduce the amount of colors from the set of color palettes that the image can use, then it's likely not going to come out as well. So usually for photographs you'd use JPEG. Okay, we do have another format here, which is the GIF or the GIF file. This one, I think, is mostly remembered for doing animations, and even now I think you can quickly do one using available software, open source software like GIMP, so that you can have a simple animation like a dragon with a fire coming out. So it's supposed to be a fire breathing dragon, and from there you can see that it's animating, showing the fire, and then taking it out and then showing the fire again. So in that sense, the GIF image file lets you put these things on your web page or something, so that it's gonna be less static, and you can have some sort of animation going on your web page. Of course, there was a time when people used the GIF format to do ads, because if you have a web page and you want people to look at your ads, you make it move, you make it do stuff, and that catches their attention. And from the number of people who maybe click the ad, then that's how you can compute your earnings, because that's how many people saw the ad, right? And in that way, um, we know that we have a quantity of people who are looking at the ads and looking at the website. Okay, so um, if A is incorrect, B is incorrect, and C is incorrect, we only have D as the correct answer. And this one, MPEG, is a way to compress the video and audio file. Video and audio data, because you put them together. During the time of flash animation, we can observe that the video files, for example, could be compressed even further. Of course, the quality can be a little bit much lower than the video that you'd want, but because of that, it can substantially reduce the file size, so that web services like YouTube, web services where there are people who upload so many videos, their problem with the storage could be at least solved somehow, because you can use the technology to compress the uploaded files, while the people who are creating the videos would need to continuously buy more storage space. And I think those people who, for example, upload videos on web services like YouTube, Twitch, these things, it's likely that they need to buy storage, like terabytes of storage for their videos. And I think in that way, the companies could make money. And then, of course, the web service has to have some kind of tool to reduce the file size, and maybe the tool is proprietary, or the tool is not widely available, so that um, the people creating the videos would need to continuously buy more storage. And if the web service has a partnership between the manufacturers, the companies that make the storage, then I think that's a business model that can um, seem to work. And I think there are companies who do that, except that for Twitch's case, seems like they're still having a little bit of problems based on the news, making profits. Like, for example, they shut down the service in Korea, and they want people in Korea to use the service that they have there locally. So it seems like um, they they're not making money as much as we think they could, based on the business model that I was sharing a while ago. The other thing is, I was saying something about ads using the GIF format, because it catches attention. And maybe I think that's also one of the things that people saw during the time when the internet um, was growing rapidly. And so a lot more people knowing how to do animations, knowing how to do these things, could likely lead to um, more people looking at the ads, because they know somehow um, that this ad catches their attention, because of the quality of the maybe the animation or something. So when we think about it in that way, it seems like it's not too intuitive. Like, you have skills, a set of skills to do animation, but you use the skill set to create ads. I think most people in the animation field thought about creating their own movies, thought about creating their own computer graphic animated masterpieces or whatever, and not really thought about creating animation to get people to look at the ads. But if we look at the history, seems like the GIF format was pretty much created to do that. But of course, people eventually, um, I think it could be that also people thought that it's time consuming to create animation, and so maybe we can create tools to make it faster. But of course, we need to make money out of these things too. So they created more sophisticated software to supposedly help people create animation much faster, much more efficiently, um, and in that way they charge money so that they can earn and maintain the system and add more features. So it looks like it moved toward the tool making side of things instead of um, making money out of the ads. However, again, we see several companies that have created engines, and yet they seem to be not earning as much too. Like, for example, a lot of the news about Unity engine laying off people, charging fees, like additional fees for people who want to continue to use the engine and things like that. So it seems like we're moving from one type of use to another, in the hopes of getting money. But as the history continues on of how people move from ads, creating ads, to creating tools and engines, money seems to be not as abundant very quickly somehow. Maybe within 10 years or so, if you created this new technology, you get money at the start, but eventually you find that you don't get as much money anymore. So maybe you have to create another new thing, another use for um, people who maybe want to make animation, right? From ads, so that people are are attracted to the ad, and then tools to make the ad, and then from the tools you earn. But eventually, people don't earn as much. They want to charge more. And so what's the next thing, right? So I think that's something that we can also pick up when we think about and read about also these things. Of course, it's also important that we work with these things too, and not just read about them and think about them, but actually make use of these technologies. And knowing how to use these technologies helps us to understand them better. Okay, let me see if I have more stuff other than what I've said. So again, video, audio, compress. So you got MPEG. The other ones are for images. Okay.